Welcome, dear listeners, to another enchanting journey on our channel. As the night wraps the world in its serene embrace, I invite you to unwind, relax, and prepare for a voyage into a land of magic and mystery. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the cares of the day melt away as we embark on a tale of valor and heart. A story that weaves through the trials of Prince Leonar and his noble quest in the kingdom of Everlight. In tonight's story, The Quest for Redemption, we will walk alongside a brave prince and his unlikely companion, a wise and mystical fox, as they face daunting challenges in a magical realm. Let their courage and determination inspire you as you drift closer to the realms of your dreams. Allow the soothing tones of this narrative to fill your room, creating a peaceful sanctuary where your imagination can roam free. So, snuggle in, get cozy under your blanket, and let the adventure fill your dreams with wonder and tranquility. Our journey begins now, under the light of a twinkling starlit sky, into a story that promises to be as heartwarming as it is heroic. Chapter 1: The Curse and the Quest. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Everlight, there reigned a prince of unparalleled kindness and bravery. Prince Leonar, on the eve of his 18th year, was celebrated throughout the land for his valor and compassion. However, darkness loomed over the joyous occasion, for a wicked witch, spurned by the king's refusal to bow to her whims, cast a vile curse upon the unsuspecting prince. As the last rays of his 17th year's sun set, a shadow fell upon the castle. The witch, cloaked in malice, appeared before Leonar, her eyes glowing with an unholy light. "For your father's defiance, you shall bear the weight of my wrath," she hissed, her voice a blend of hatred and dark magic. "Each night, as the moon ascends, you shall transform into a beast, your visage as grotesque as the night is dark. Only the love of the enchanted princess, hidden away by my power, can break this curse. Fail to find her before your 21st year, and you shall remain a beast forevermore." The curse took effect immediately, and that very night, under the watchful gaze of the moon, Prince Leonar's form twisted and changed. By morning, though he returned to his human guise, the horror of the transformation haunted him. The kingdom reeled from the news, and despair took root in the once happy land. In the weeks that followed, Prince Leonar withdrew from the world. His once bright and open visage was now marred by sorrow and fear. He confined himself to the castle's highest tower, shunning the daylight that reminded him of his curse. The king and queen, heartbroken at their son's plight, sought far and wide for a cure, but to no avail. The witch's magic was potent and dark, beyond the reach of their wisest sages and strongest magics. But Leonar, despite the beast he became each night, held a heart unyielded. He pored over ancient tomes and scrolls, seeking any mention of the enchanted princess the witch had spoken of. His resolve hardened. If there was even a sliver of hope, he would find it and break the curse that held him. It was on a night bathed in the light of a full moon, as Leonar wrestled with his beastly form, that he stumbled upon an old, forgotten scroll. It spoke of a princess, pure of heart and strong of will, enchanted into an eternal slumber by the wicked witch. She was hidden away in a forest, shrouded in magic, where thorns grew as thick as walls, and beasts roamed, guarding her slumber. The scroll whispered of a prophecy that only one who could brave the forest's depths, defeat the witch's guardians, and awaken the princess with the pledge of true love, would break the enchantment that bound them both. Leonar's heart, though heavy with his burden, flickered with hope. Here at last was the key to his salvation. Determined to embark on this perilous quest, Prince Leonar made preparations to leave at dawn. As he surveyed the maps of his kingdom and the dark forest beyond, a voice, as clear as day, but as soft as a whisper, reached his ears. "Seeking the princess, are you?" it said, tinged with a mixture of curiosity and respect. Turning, Leonar found himself face to face with a fox, its fur a brilliant shade of red, and its eyes intelligent and knowing. "I am Alaric," the fox continued, "once a knight of this realm, now cursed by the same witch who torments you. I offer you my guidance, for I know the paths through the enchanted forest, and I seek my redemption." And so, with the talking fox as his companion, Prince Leonar set forth from the safety of his castle, stepping into the unknown. Together, they would face the dangers of the enchanted forest, find the hidden princess, and confront the wicked witch. The prince's quest had begun, and with it, the hope of a kingdom hung in the balance. As the first light of dawn kissed the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, Prince Leonar, alongside Alaric the talking fox, made their way past the castle gates. The air was crisp, filled with the promise of the adventure that lay ahead. The kingdom's inhabitants, who had come to bid their prince farewell, watched with a mixture of awe and hope. Despite the fear that clutched at their hearts, there was a spark of hope that this quest might lift the dark cloud hanging over Everlight. The prince, clad in a cloak that shimmered with a subtle magic to protect him from the elements, mounted his steed. A horse of purest white, gifted with speed and endurance by the kingdom's finest mages. Alaric, with his keen senses and intelligence, led the way. Their destination lay beyond the whispering plains, through the enchanted forest, to the hidden castle where the princess slumbered. As they rode through the kingdom, the landscape transformed from the cultivated beauty of the royal gardens to the wild, untamed expanse of the plains. The whispering plains, so named for the winds that carried voices from beyond, posed the first of many challenges. These voices sought to confuse and mislead travelers, whispering doubts and fears, tempting them to stray from their path. Yet, Prince Leonard, guided by Alaric's unwavering resolve, pressed on. The fox's knowledge of the plains, gleaned from his years of wandering under the witch's curse, proved invaluable. He taught Leonard to listen not with his ears, but with his heart, to discern the true path forward. And so, they traversed the whispering plains, their bond strengthened by the trials they faced together. Upon leaving the whispering plains behind, the landscape began to shift, the grass growing thicker, the air heavier. They had reached the edge of the enchanted forest, a realm where magic ruled and the laws of man fell away. It was here that their quest would truly begin. But as they prepared to enter the forest, a figure emerged from the trees, a giant wrought from the earth itself, its eyes glinting with the challenge. No man may pass into the forest without proving his worth, it boomed, its voice echoing like thunder. Leonard, drawing his sword, prepared for battle, but Alaric stayed his hand. Strength alone will not win this fight, the fox whispered. Use your wits and your heart. Heeding Alaric's advice, Leonard sheathed his sword and addressed the giant. I seek not to conquer, but to save. My quest is one of love and redemption, not of glory and conquest. Let me pass, that I might end the witch's tyranny over my land and free the enchanted princess. The giant, moved by Leonard's words and the purity of his intent, stepped aside. Your journey is noble, and your heart is true. You may pass, Prince of Everlight. And so, Leonard and Alaric entered the enchanted forest, their spirits lifted by their first victory. The path ahead would be fraught with danger, but together they faced it with courage and hope. The quest for the enchanted princess and the breaking of the curse had truly begun. Chapter 2. Journey through the enchanted forest. As Prince Leonard and Alaric, the talking fox, crossed the boundary into the enchanted forest, a silence fell upon them. The trees, ancient and towering, seemed to watch over their passage, whispering secrets in a language lost to time. The forest's calm was deceptive, a serene facade that masked the magic and mystery woven into its very essence. The path underfoot A mosaic of moss and stone wound its way deeper into the forest, its direction ever changing. To navigate the enchanted forest was to navigate a labyrinth crafted by nature and enchanted by the most potent of magics. Leonard, ever vigilant, could feel the weight of the forest's gaze, as if the trees themselves were assessing their worthiness. Alaric, whose curse had lent him an affinity for the forest's magic, guided them with an unerring sense of direction. The forest tests all who enter, he explained, his eyes gleaming with a mix of reverence and caution. It senses our intentions and will lead us astray if we are not true of heart. As they ventured further, the forest began to reveal its wonders. Flowers that shone with their own light dotted the underbrush, casting an ethereal glow upon their surroundings. Creatures of myth and legend, visible only from the corner of one's eye, flitted between the trees, their forms blending seamlessly with the natural world. But the beauty of the forest was not without its dangers. Thorns sharp as daggers, and plants that whispered temptations sought to hinder their progress. Leonard, heeding Alaric's advice, focused on the strength of his purpose, the love he sought to prove, and the curse he aimed to break. This determination became their shield, turning aside the forest's attempts to ensnare them in its enchantments. As night fell, the forest transformed. The light from the flowers grew brighter, casting long shadows that danced and twisted around them. The air hummed with magic, a palpable force that tingled against the skin. Leonard and Alaric, bound by their quest, settled beneath the canopy of a great oak, its branches a protective embrace against the night's uncertainties. Here, at the edge of the enchanted forest, they prepared for the trials ahead. Alaric shared tales of the forest's heart, where magic flowed strongest, and of the castle shrouded in thorns that lay beyond. Leonard listened, his resolve hardened by the stories of those who had entered the forest, never to return. Yet, within his heart, the flame of hope burned brighter with each tale. For if the forest was indeed the guardian of the enchanted princess, then within its depths lay the key to breaking his curse. As the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, Leonard and Alaric rose, their spirits buoyed by the night's respite. The path ahead would lead them through the heart of the enchanted forest, to trials unimagined and wonders unseen. With each step, they delved deeper into the realm of magic, where danger and beauty were inextricably intertwined, and where each moment brought them closer to their destiny. Together, they pressed on, the prince and the fox, allies forged by fate and bound by a quest that would test the very limits of their courage and resolve. The journey through the enchanted forest was more than a path to the princess. It was a journey into the heart of magic itself. Deeper into the heart of the enchanted forest, where the trees whispered secrets of old and the air was thick with enchantment. Prince Leonard and Alaric encountered a clearing unlike any they had seen. Here, the forest seemed to hold its breath, and time itself paused in reverence. At the center of this clearing stood a figure as ancient and timeless as the woods themselves. A wise old man, his eyes alight with the knowledge of ages. The old man, known to those few who had glimpsed him as the guardian of the woods, fixed his gaze upon the prince and his companion. "I have awaited your arrival," he spoke, his voice echoing the rustle of leaves. "The forest has watched your journey, Prince Leonard, and it has deemed you worthy." Leonard, taken aback by the sudden appearance of the guardian, dismounted and approached with respect. "We seek the enchanted princess, hidden away by a wicked witch. I am under her curse, and only the princess can break it." The wise old man nodded, as if he had known their quest before they had spoken it. "Your path is fraught with danger, more perilous than the trials you have faced thus far. But you are driven by a pure heart, and it is this that has guided you to me." From his robes, the old man produced 2 items, magical in nature, and offered them to the travelers. To Leonard, he gave a sword, its blade gleaming with an ethereal light, capable of cutting through the darkest magic. "This sword will serve you in the battles to come," he said. To Alaric, he bestowed a cloak, woven from the very essence of the forest. "This cloak will shield you from the witch's sight and protect you in your most desperate hour." He imparted upon them wisdom, a knowledge of the forest's heart where magic ran deepest. "The forest will test you, not to thwart, but to strengthen. Remember, the greatest power lies not in strength of arm, but in strength of heart." Before they could offer their thanks, the old man raised a hand, and the air shimmered with magic. "Beware the river of whispers and the trial of shadows," he warned. "Trust in your bond, for it will guide you through the darkness." As the air cleared, the guardian of the woods was gone, as if he had never been, leaving behind only the gifts he had bestowed and the echo of his words. Leonard and Alaric looked at each other, a newfound determination in their eyes. With the magical items and the wise old man's advice, they felt prepared to face the trials ahead. The sword felt right in Leonard's hand, a weight not of burden, but of purpose. Alaric, enveloped in the cloak, felt the warmth of the forest's protection. Together, they left the clearing, their path illuminated by the wisdom of the guardian, and their spirits lifted by the magic of the forest that now seemed less a foe and more an ally. Their journey through the enchanted forest continued, with the river of whispers and the trial of shadows looming ahead. But with the gifts and guidance from the wise old man of the woods, they moved forward, ready to face whatever the forest and fate had in store. In the heart of the enchanted forest, where shadows danced with light and silence spoke volumes, Prince Leonar and Alaric, the fox cloaked in forest magic, came upon a river unlike any other. The River of Whispers it was called, for its waters mirrored not the face, but the soul, revealing the deepest fears of those who dared to gaze upon its surface. The river's banks were shrouded in mist, and the air was thick with anticipation. Leonar approached, his heart heavy with the burden of his curse. "This is the trial the wise old man warned us about," Alaric murmured, his voice a thread of sound in the silence. As they stood at the water's edge, the river began to whisper. Voices, soft and insidious, spoke of failure, of fears rooted deep in their hearts. Leonar saw his kingdom fall to ruin, his people turning away from him in fear and disgust, his form forever that of a beast. Alaric saw himself lost to the curse, never to regain his human form, forgotten by time and memory. The visions, so vivid and so cruel, sought to drown them in despair. But within Leonar, a spark of defiance flared. He remembered the guardian's words, that strength of heart outweighed strength of arm. Closing his eyes, he focused not on the fears that sought to claim him, but on the love he held for his people, the hope of breaking the curse, and the bond he shared with Alaric. Alaric, watching Leonar's resolve, found courage in his companion's strength. He too closed his eyes, focusing on the journey they had undertaken, the trials they had overcome, and the friendship that had grown between them. Together, they stepped into the river, the whispers growing louder, threatening to overwhelm. Yet, as they moved forward, the whispers began to fade, their power waning against the shield of their resolve. The river, sensing the purity of their intent and the strength of their hearts, calmed, its waters reflecting back not fears, but the images of their triumphs, their courage, and their unyielding determination. Emerging on the far side of the River of Whispers, Leonar and Alaric felt a weight lifted from their shoulders. They had faced their fears, not alone, but together, and in doing so, had found a strength they did not know they possessed. The trial had not only tested them, but had forged their bond stronger than ever before. With the river of whispers behind them, they continued their journey through the enchanted forest, their spirits buoyed by their victory over their deepest fears. The path ahead remained fraught with danger, but with each step, they grew more convinced of their ability to overcome whatever trials lay before them. The castle, shrouded in thorns and the wicked witch's magic, loomed ever closer. But so too did the hope of finding the enchanted princess and breaking the curse that bound them all. Leonard and Alaric moved forward, their resolve unshaken, their hearts united in purpose. As twilight descended upon the enchanted forest, casting its velvet cloak over the land, Prince Leonard and Alaric found themselves enveloped in darkness, like none they had ever known. The forest, alive with the magic of the day, transformed under the moon's watchful eye, revealing a side that was both mesmerizing and menacing. This was the trial of shadows, where night itself breathed and shadows danced with a life of their own. The air grew colder, and the once benign whispers of the forest turned into murmurs of unease. Leonard and Alaric pressed on, guided by the flickering light of the enchanted flowers that seemed to resist the darkness's embrace. However, it wasn't long before they realized that the night held more than just the absence of light. It was a realm where the forest's darkest magic roamed free. Shadows, darker than the night, began to peel away from the trees, taking on forms that twisted and turned, mirroring the fears they had faced at the River of Whispers, but now given shape. These shadows whispered of defeat, of an endless night where the sun never rose, and of a quest that would lead only to despair. Leonard gripped the hilt of his magical sword, the one gifted by the wise old man, its blade gleaming with a light that held the darkness at bay. Alaric, cloaked in the essence of the forest, moved with caution, his senses alert to the shifting shadows that sought to encircle them. It was in the deepest hour of the night, when the stars hid their faces and the moon cast no light, that the shadows struck. They surged forward, a tide of darkness seeking to overwhelm the prince and his companion. But Leonard, with a courage bolstered by the trials he had already overcome, drew his sword and faced the onslaught. The blade sang as it cut through the air, its light cleaving through the shadows, each strike banishing the darkness and diminishing their numbers. Beside him, Alaric used the cloak to weave patterns of protection, creating barriers of light that shielded them from the shadow's touch. The magic of the cloak, intertwined with the forest's essence, acted as a beacon, guiding and protecting them through the night. Together, they stood firm against the shadows, their trust in each other unshaken. With each passing moment, they fought back against the darkness, until, at last, the first light of dawn pierced the night. The shadows, unable to withstand the coming of the day, dissipated into the morning mist, leaving behind a forest transformed by the light's return. The trial of shadows had tested their courage to its limits, but in facing it together, Leonard and Alaric had found a strength that neither knew they possessed. The magical items from the wise old man had been their salvation, guiding them through the darkness and back into the light. As they continued their journey, the bond between prince and fox, strengthened by the trials they had faced, became their greatest asset. The forest, once a realm of uncertainty and fear, now seemed to acknowledge their resolve, its path unfolding before them with a newfound clarity. The night had brought them face to face with their darkest fears, but in overcoming them, Leonard and Alaric had emerged stronger, their resolve unbreakable. The enchanted forest, with all its magic and mystery, lay open before them, its deepest secrets and greatest challenges still to come. After the ordeal of the trial of shadows, Prince Leonard and Alaric ventured deeper into the heart of the enchanted forest, their spirits buoyed by their triumph over darkness. The forest, as if in acknowledgement of their courage, seemed to part before them, leading them to a place untouched by time or shadow. It was a clearing bathed in the gentle glow of starlight, where the air shimmered with magic and peace. In the center of this clearing stood a single tree, grander than any they had seen before, its branches reaching towards the heavens, adorned with leaves that sparkled like jewels. Beneath this tree, time itself seemed to stand still, offering a sanctuary from the trials of their journey. Leonard and Alaric, drawn by the serene beauty of the place, approached the tree. As they did, a gentle voice filled the air, as warm and welcoming as the sun's embrace. "You have journeyed far and faced the darkness with courage," the voice said, emanating from the very essence of the clearing. "You seek the enchanted princess, bound by a curse, as you are, Prince Leonard." Startled, yet comforted by the voice's presence, Leonard replied, "Yes, we seek to break the curse that binds us all. But the path is fraught with peril, and we know not where to find her." The air shimmered, and before them appeared a vision of the witch, her eyes alight with malice, casting the curse upon the princess, her laughter echoing with cruelty. Then the vision shifted, showing the princess, her power glowing like a beacon, even as she slumbered, ensnared by the curse. "The princess's power is great," the voice continued, born of light and love, capable of breaking the darkness that the witch has woven. But alone, she cannot awaken from her slumber. It is your heart, your courage, and your bond that will free her, and in doing so, free yourself. In that moment, clarity washed over Leonard and Alaric. They understood that the journey was not just about breaking a curse, but about the power of unity, love, and the strength found within. The witch's curse was not just a punishment. It was a test, one that could only be overcome by facing their fears and embracing their true selves. The vision faded, leaving them with a sense of purpose and direction. The clearing, having imparted its wisdom, seemed to whisper encouragement with the rustling of leaves. Leonard and Alaric, their resolve strengthened and their path clear, stepped forth from the clearing, their spirits lifted. As they left the sanctuary of the clearing, the forest no longer seemed a labyrinth of trials, but a journey of discovery. The challenges they had faced had not only tested their bravery, but had also revealed the depth of their character and the strength of their bond. With newfound determination, they continued their quest, the knowledge gained in the clearing, guiding them like a beacon. The path ahead was still fraught with danger, but they moved forward with the confidence that together they could overcome anything. The midnight clearing, a place where time stood still and truths were revealed, had offered them a moment of peace and clarity. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's light to be found, and that in unity, there's power. Emerging from the midnight clearing, with the wisdom of the forest now etched into their hearts, Prince Leonard and Alaric found themselves under the vast expanse of the night sky. The stars, gleaming like a tapestry of light woven across the heavens, seemed to beckon them forward. It was under this celestial guide that they discovered the path long obscured by magic and mystery, the path to the castle of thorns. The forest, which had tested their resolve and courage, now parted before them, revealing a trail lit by the silver glow of the moon. This path, as if ordained by destiny itself, led them through the whispering trees and silent shadows, straight to the heart of the witch's domain. The air grew colder, the silence deeper, as the castle loomed into view. Its imposing walls and spired towers entangled in a thicket of thorns, as if the very land sought to protect the secret it held within. The Castle of Thorns was a sight both awe-inspiring and fearsome. It stood as a testament to the witch's power, its black stone absorbing the light of the moon, casting a pall of darkness around it. Yet, for all its foreboding appearance, there was a beauty to it, majesty that spoke of ancient magic and timeless tales. Leonard and Alaric paused at the edge of the thicket, the final barrier between them and their quest's end. The thorns, sharp and unyielding, bristled with a magic of their own, a protective spell cast by the witch to guard the sleeping princess from the world. But the prince and his companion were not deterred. They had faced the trials of the forest, overcome their deepest fears, and learned the power of unity and purpose. Drawing the enchanted sword, Leonard approached the thicket. With a touch, the blade glowed brighter, its light cutting through the darkness. As he swung the sword, the thorns recoiled, as if repelled by the purity of his intent and the magic of the blade. Step by step, they made their way through the barrier, the path revealing itself under the sword's light. Alaric, ever vigilant, kept watch, his senses attuned to the magic that permeated the air. He could feel the presence of the princess, her power, a beacon calling them forth. And he knew, with a certainty that filled him with hope, that they were on the cusp of changing their fates forever. As the last of the thorns fell away, the castle stood before them, no longer a distant dream, but a tangible reality. The gates, entwined with roses that bloomed even in the darkness, opened as if welcoming them, acknowledging their right to enter. Leonard and Alaric stepped into the castle grounds, their hearts beating as one. The path to the Castle of Thorns, once shrouded in mystery and danger, was now behind them. A journey that had forged them into heroes of their own tale. The castle awaited, its halls silent and watchful, holding within its walls the key to their quest, the enchanted princess. With every step they took, Leonard and Alaric knew that the climax of their journey was near, a confrontation with the witch and the breaking of the curse that loomed ever closer. The path revealed under the stars had led them to this moment, a moment that held the promise of triumph and transformation. The destiny that had once seemed so elusive was now within their grasp, and together they moved forward, ready to face whatever lay ahead with courage and hope. Chapter 3: The Castle of Thorns and the Final Battle. Within the shadows of the Castle of Thorns, Prince Leonard and Alaric found themselves in a world where magic was as much a part of the stones as the mortar that held them together. The castle, a labyrinth of corridors and halls, whispered with the echoes of those who had dared to challenge its mistress and failed. Here, the air was thick with enchantment, and every shadow seemed to watch their progress with silent anticipation. The castle's defenses were not just the thorns that ensnared its walls, but also the puzzles and traps laid by the witch. each designed to test the intruder's resolve and wit. The first of these was a door that demanded a sacrifice of truth, one that could only be opened by revealing a secret held deep within the heart. Leonard, standing before the ancient oak barrier, spoke of his fear, not of the beast he became, but of the loneliness that accompanied his curse. A truth so genuine, it caused the door to sigh and swing open, as if moved by his honesty. Beyond lay a hall of mirrors, but these were no ordinary reflections. Each mirror sought to trap the viewer in a prison of their deepest insecurities, twisting their image into manifestations of doubt and despair. Alaric, with the cloak's magic, guided Leonard through, focusing on the bond they shared, a connection unmarred by the mirror's deceit. Together, they navigated the maze, their confidence in each other, a beacon that led them through the shadows. Deeper into the castle, they encountered a room where the very stones beneath their feet sought to betray them, shifting and changing to lead them astray. Here, the enchanted sword shone with a brilliant light, illuminating the true path and protecting them from the magic that sought to swallow them into the depths of the castle. With each challenge they faced, Leonard and Alaric grew stronger, more in tune with the magic that surrounded them and with each other. The traps, designed to deter and defeat, instead honed their resolve and their skills, for the heart of their quest was pure and their intentions were true. As they delved deeper into the heart of the Castle of Thorns, the air grew colder and the magic more intense. They could feel the presence of the witch, her power permeating the very walls, a constant reminder of the battle that lay ahead. Yet, there was also another presence, one that called to them with a voice as soft as a whisper and as strong as a shout. It was the princess, her power a beacon of hope that guided them forward. The castle, with its puzzles and traps, had been a formidable adversary. But Leonard and Alaric had faced each challenge with courage and wit. They had proven themselves worthy of reaching the heart of the witch's domain, where the final confrontation awaited them. As they stood before the door to the inner sanctum, where the witch and the princess awaited, they knew that the trials they had faced within the Castle of Thorns were but a prelude to the battle to come. But they also knew that they were not the same individuals who had entered the castle. They were stronger, united by a purpose that was greater than the sum of their parts, ready to face whatever dangers lay ahead. Together, they stepped forward, ready to confront the wicked witch and break the curse that bound them all. castle of thorns, with its magic and brambles, had tested their resolve, but it had not broken them. Instead, it had prepared them for the final battle, a battle that would determine their fate and the fate of the enchanted princess. Within the inner sanctum of the castle of thorns, the air was heavy with magic, a palpable tension that seemed to seep from the very stones. Prince Leonor and Alaric stepped into the dimly lit chamber, their senses alert for any sign of the witch. What greeted them was not a being of flesh and bone, but a voice, chilling and malevolent, that echoed around the room. "Welcome, Prince Leonor and his faithful companion. You have come far, but it is in vain. You cannot hope to defeat me," the witch's voice taunted, her laughter a cold caress against their skin. As her words faded, the room darkened further, and from the shadows emerged phantoms, each a twisted reflection of their deepest fears. Leonor found himself face to face with the beast he became each night, its eyes glowing with a hatred that mirrored his own self-loathing. Alaric, meanwhile, was confronted by a vision of himself, forever trapped in his animal form, isolated and forgotten. The illusions, so vivid and so potent, sought to ensnare their minds, to drown them in despair. The witch's voice continued to taunt them, a constant whisper that sought to break their spirit. "Is this what you fear? To be forever monstrous, forever alone? You cannot escape what you are." But Leonor and Alaric, bound by their journey and the trials they had overcome, found strength in each other. They remembered the midnight clearing, the wisdom of the wise old man, and the resolve they had forged in the face of their fears. With a shout, Leonor drew the enchanted sword, its light piercing the darkness. He faced his fears, acknowledging them, but refusing to be defined by them. "I am more than my curse," he declared, his voice steady and strong. Beside him, Alaric, cloaked in the magic of the forest, stood firm. "And I am not alone. We stand together against you and your darkness." Together, they turned their will against the illusions. The enchanted sword and cloak, acting as beacons of light in the oppressive gloom. Slowly, the phantoms began to dissipate, their forms melting away into the shadows from whence they came. The witch's laughter grew shrill, her frustration evident as her attempts to break them failed. As the last of the illusions vanished, the chamber brightened, revealing the witch herself. She stood at the far end of the room, her form shrouded in darkness, her eyes glowing with malice. But there was a flicker of uncertainty in her gaze, for she had not anticipated the strength of their bond or the power of their resolve. "You may have overcome my illusions, but you have not yet won she hissed, her voice a venomous promise of the battle to come. Leonard and Alaric, standing side by side, faced the witch with determined hearts. They had conquered their inner demons, and now they stood ready to confront the external threat. The illusions had tested them, had sought to exploit their fears and doubts, but in the end, they emerged stronger, their spirits unbroken. The confrontation with the witch was not just a battle of magic and might, but a testament to their journey, to the challenges they had faced and the lessons they had learned. They had faced the witch's darkest illusions and emerged victorious, a clear sign that their quest was righteous and their cause just. With the witch before them, the final battle loomed closer, a confrontation that would decide their fates and the fate of the enchanted princess. The illusions had been but a prelude, a test of their spirit and resolve. Now, the true challenge awaited, a challenge they were ready to face together. After their confrontation with the witch's cruel illusions, Prince Leonard and Alaric made their way through the winding corridors of the Castle of Thorns, their hearts set on one goal: to find and awaken the enchanted princess, Aveline. The castle, sensing the turning tide, seemed to quiet, as if in anticipation of the momentous event about to unfold. They found her in the highest tower, a room bathed in the soft glow of moonlight that filtered through the thicket of thorns encasing the windows. There, upon a bed of silken sheets, and surrounded by flowers that glowed with an ethereal light, lay Princess Aveline. She was as the legends described, her hair a cascade of moonlight, her features peaceful, as if she were merely asleep, awaiting the moment of her awakening. Leonard approached, his heart heavy with the weight of the moment. He knew that the traditional tales spoke of a kiss to break the spell, but the journey had taught him that true magic lay not in the simplicity of actions, but in the depth of connections formed. Standing beside the princess, Leonard spoke, his voice a gentle murmur in the tranquil tower. Princess Aveline, I do not come to claim you with a kiss or awaken you with a mere gesture. I stand before you, a prince cursed and humbled by my journey. I offer you a pledge of true companionship, an understanding born of trials faced and darkness overcome. Together, we can break the chains of enchantment that bind us. Alaric, ever faithful, added his voice to the pledge, affirming their united front against the darkness that had sought to divide them. The air in the tower thickened, charged with magic and anticipation, as their words of genuine connection and unity echoed through the room. Slowly, the princess's eyelids fluttered, her first breath a soft sigh that seemed to stir the very air. As her eyes opened, they shone with an inner light, a power so profound it pushed back the shadows, filling the room with warmth and clarity. The enchantment that had held her in slumber for so long began to fracture, not from the force of a singular act, but from the strength of a shared bond and the promise of mutual respect and understanding. Princess Aveline sat up, her gaze taking in Leonor and Alaric, seeing not just her rescuers, but her allies. "Your journey, your pledge, has reached my heart," she said, her voice imbued with a strength that resonated through the room. "In unity, we find the key to breaking the curses that bind us." Together, they spoke of the trials faced, of the witch's darkness, and of the battles yet to come. Aveline, her power awakening with every word, joined her magic with theirs. The room glowed brighter, the enchantment that had held her captive dissolving under the combined strength of their resolve. The awakening of Princess Aveline marked a turning point in their quest. It was not merely the breaking of her enchantment, but the forging of a new alliance, one that promised hope against the darkness that had sought to engulf them. The princess, once a figure of legend, now stood with them, a testament to the power of unity and the strength found in understanding. With Aveline awakened and their forces united, the path forward was clear. The final confrontation, a battle that would determine the fate of their curses and the future of the kingdom. The enchantment that had bound Aveline was broken, but the curse that plagued Leonor and the spell that had transformed Alaric remained. Their journey was far from over, but with Aveline at their side, they faced the future with renewed hope and determination. The power of their unity, stronger than any spell, promised a victory, not just over the witch, but over the darkness within themselves. With Princess Aveline awakened and her power united with theirs, Prince Leonor and Alaric descended into the heart of the Castle of Thorns, where the air crackled with anticipation of the impending confrontation. The witch, aware of Aveline's awakening, prepared her defenses, gathering all her malice and power for the battle that would decide the fate of curses and freedom. The throne room of the castle, a grand chamber where shadows clung to the walls like specters, served as the arena for their final confrontation. At its center stood the witch, her aura of darkness palpable, a storm of power and fury ready to be unleashed. Aveline, her presence a beacon of light amid the gloom, raised her hands, her magic a shimmering shield that enveloped them, protecting them from the witch's initial onslaught of dark spells. Together, "We are stronger than your hate," she declared, her voice resounding through the chamber, a challenge and a promise. Leonard, with the enchanted sword in hand, and Alaric, cloaked in the wisdom and magic of their journey, stood ready. The battle commenced with a clash of light and darkness, the air alive with the sounds of magic and the fury of combat. The witch, with her command of dark spells, unleashed chaos upon them, her power magnified by the years she had spent weaving her curses. Yet, for every shadow she cast, there was a light to meet it. Aveline's magic, pure and potent, countered the witch's spells, her own spells weaving through the air, a dance of power that pushed back against the darkness. Leonard's sword, a beacon of hope, cut through the shadows, its light a guide in the tumultuous battle. Alaric, nimble and quick, found his way to the witch's side, his movements a blur. He used the magic of his cloak to distract, to shield, and to strike. His actions synchronized with Leonard and Aveline's efforts, a harmony born of their shared journey and united purpose. The witch, finding her spells matched and her darkness waning, fought with the dwindling fury. Her power, though formidable, could not withstand the combined strength of their unity, the purity of their intent, and the magic that bound them together. With a final, desperate act, she gathered the remnants of her power for one last spell, a darkness to engulf them all. It was then that Leonard, guided by the light of his sword, charged. With a cry that echoed the resolve in his heart, he struck, the blade finding its mark, piercing the storm of magic and reaching the witch. The impact was a shockwave, a burst of light that illuminated the darkest corners of the castle. The witch's scream, a sound of defeat and despair, faded into silence as her form dissipated, her power extinguished by the light of their combined strength. The curses she had cast, the chains of darkness that had bound them, shattered in the aftermath. The magic that held them undone. In the silence that followed, Leonard, Aveline, and Alaric stood together, their breaths mingling in the air, a testament to their victory. The battle against the witch had been won, not by force alone, but by the power of their unity, the strength of their convictions, and the purity of their hearts. The curses that had plagued them were lifted, the darkness that had shadowed their lives dispelled. In its place was a new dawn, a promise of freedom and hope for the future. The castle of thorns, once a bastion of the witch's power, now stood as a monument to their victory, its shadows retreating before the light of their triumph. Together, they had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, their bonds unbreakable, their spirits unbound. The battle against the witch was over, But their journey together was just beginning. A journey towards a future bright with promise and light. In the aftermath of the witch's defeat, an ethereal silence enveloped the castle of thorns. The air, once thick with malice and darkness, now pulsed with a light so pure it seemed to cleanse the very stones of their grim history. Before the eyes of Prince Leonard, Alaric, and Princess Aveline, the castle began to transform. The thorns that had ensnared its walls withdrew, blossoming into vibrant flowers of every hue, their petals unfurling to reveal a beauty hidden by years of darkness. The black stone of the castle's exterior lightened, shimmering under the sun's gentle caress, reflecting a spectrum of colors that danced across the newly formed gardens. From a fortress of fear and shadow, the Castle of Thorns rebirthed itself as a palace of light and hope, a testament to the power of their victory. Within this transformation, something even more miraculous occurred. Leonard, who had borne the burden of his curse with a heavy heart, felt the beast within him recede. The magic that had twisted his form each night, dissolving under the weight of their triumph. In its place stood a man, no longer a prisoner of his own fears. His appearance, a reflection of his noble heart and courageous spirit. Beside him, Alaric experienced a similar liberation. The form of the fox, which had been his curse and his shield, shimmered and shifted, revealing once more the knight he had been. Standing tall, his eyes alight with the wisdom and strength gained through their journey, Alaric looked upon his companions not as a beast, but as a true friend and ally. Princess Aveline, too, felt the change. The magic that had held her in slumber, that had limited her to a figure of legend, now expanded, freed from the witch's constraints. Her power, no longer a beacon in the darkness, but a source of light for all, shone brightly. Her true form radiant and strong, a princess not just in name, but in spirit and strength. Together, they stood in the heart of the transformed palace, their curses lifted, revealing their true selves. The bonds of darkness that had once defined their fates were now broken, replaced by a bond forged in the light of their shared triumph. The kingdom beyond the castle's walls felt the change as well. Where fear and despair had once shadowed the land, now hope and joy blossomed. The people, feeling the lift of the curses, emerged from their homes to witness the dawn of a new era, their hearts light with the promise of peace and prosperity. The tale of their victory spread far and wide, a story of courage, unity, and the power of true companionship. Leonard, Alaric, and Aveline became symbols of hope. Their journey a testament to the belief that even in the darkest of times, light can be found and curses can be broken. As they looked upon the beauty of the palace and the land that stretched beyond, Leonard, Alaric, and Aveline knew that their journey had forever altered the course of their lives. They had faced the darkness together and emerged victorious, their curses lifted, their spirits unbound. The future lay before them, bright with promise. The castle of thorns, now a palace of light, stood as a beacon of their victory, a reminder that no curse is too great, no darkness too deep, when faced with courage, love, and unity. As dawn broke over the horizon, casting a golden light across the land, Prince Leonard, Princess Aveline, and Alaric, now restored to his true form, set forth from the transformed castle of light, their hearts leading them back to the kingdom of Everlight. The journey back was a reflection not of the perilous path they had once tread, but of the hope and joy that now filled their hearts. The kingdom of Everlight, which had long awaited the return of its prince under the shadow of the curse, now stirred with a sense of anticipation and wonder. Word of their approach spread like wildfire, carried on the breeze that seemed to whisper tales of their courage and triumph. The people of Everlight, who had lived in the shadow of fear and despair, now gathered, their eyes turned towards the horizon, eager to welcome their heroes home. As Leonard, Aveline, and Alaric entered the gates of Everlight, they were met with a celebration unlike any the kingdom had ever seen. Flowers rained down from balconies, music filled the air, and the people cheered, their voices a chorus of joy and relief. The darkness that had once loomed over their lives was gone, dispelled by the light of their prince's return and the newfound alliance with Princess Aveline. In the heart of the kingdom, before the castle that had stood watch over Everlight through its darkest times, Leonard and Aveline shared their tale. They spoke of the journey through the enchanted forest, of the trials they had faced, and of the darkness they had overcome. They spoke of Alaric, the loyal companion whose wisdom and bravery had been instrumental in their quest. And they spoke of the power of unity, of love, and of redemption that had guided them through. Their story, a tapestry woven from threads of courage, love, and hope, captivated the hearts of all who heard it. Leonard and Aveline's bond, forged in the crucible of their journey, shone brightly, a beacon of hope for the kingdom. It was a testament to the idea that together, no darkness was too profound to overcome, no curse too powerful to break. The celebration lasted into the night, a night lit not by the flickering of torches, but by the glow of a kingdom reborn. The joy of Everlight was palpable, a shared heartbeat that pulsed through the streets, a melody of hope and renewal. In the days that followed, Leonard and Aveline worked side by side. Their efforts focused on building a future for Everlight that reflected the lessons of their journey. They spoke of unity, of the strength found in compassion and understanding, and of a kingdom that, like them, had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. Their story became a legend, tales of their courage and love passed down through generations, a reminder of the triumph of light over darkness, of hope over despair. Leonard and Aveline, along with Alaric, were not just heroes of a tale, but symbols of the enduring power of the human spirit, of the belief that in unity there is strength, and in love there's redemption. And so, the kingdom of Everlight, once overshadowed by curses and fear, now thrived under the light of their triumph. The prince and princess, alongside their faithful companion, stood as guardians of a future bright with promise, their lives a testament to the power of courage, unity, and love. In Everlight, the memory of their journey, of the darkness they had vanquished, and the light they had brought forth, would forever burn bright, a beacon